Easy, how are we?
Shawnee, I'm doing well. Hey, Sean,
Uh-oh. What?
I'm learning Portuguese.
You're learning Okay.
I'm getting there. So every day I have these interactions when you're driving to and from work, and like the police will stop you, and then they're like saying, probably give me money, or I don't know what they're saying, but I'm just looking at them like, what? What? Now, sometimes playing dumb works, but sometimes you kind of wish you had a word or two to kind of navigate the situation. So it's happened too many times. So I've started learning Portuguese. It's
Just
very hard.
context, Eric. Context, please, because I'm an idiot. I picked history, not geography. And they speak Portuguese in Mozambique where you are right now?
Yeah, it's a former Portuguese colony. So they all the national language is Portuguese. Portuguese.
Right. This makes a
So
little bit more sense to me. Hopefully
yeah,
everyone else
so
listens as well.
but even like comes to ordering food time, you'd be like, "Oh, can I have this?" That's not what arrives. So I find when you have a little bit more a couple of the words, you tend to get what that is, and you're like, "Oh, yes, maybe I should order my food in Portuguese a lot more." So I had a moment the other day. We will talk about running at some point, but I had a moment the other day where one of the guys was asking in English, "Oh, can I have this, this, and this?" And your man was looking at him like, "Okay," like just you could see the eyes glazing over. And then he looked at me for help, and
Oh,
I said it
wow.
in Portuguese, and he went, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah," and I was like, "Oh no, it happened."
You're the
I did
go-to.
it. I did a thing, and I was like, "Why did he look at me?" So yeah, it's we're getting there. If anyone wants chicken breast with vegetables, I am your guy.
And this is through the
Um,
old Duolingo, is it?
no, but
Okay.
I went and got a tutor on Preply. Let's say Preply. Preply, Preply, whatever you want to call it, or Preply. I don't know.
What is it an app? What is this?
It is an app, yeah, but basically it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever used Fiverr, or it's freelance teachers, basically. So they have their prices per hour, and you can find a teacher. They all have videos. This is me and I teach Portuguese, and they have number of reviews, number of students. So basically you're trying to find your match. You set your budget. And then so I'm doing 3 hours a week of Portuguese, and to give you homework and all that, and I'm doing verbs and stuff. It's like being back in secondary school. And then even today, I hadn't got my homework done. I was there before the class, like trying to write it down as quick as I could. I was like, some things never change. Some things never change. But yeah, it's getting slowly, like it's one of these like melting ice. Do you know what I mean? In a freezer. It's very slow to start, but I've noticed the growth in my vocab, and the interactions now just starting to grow exponentially. Like I'm actually starting to understand. I'm hearing words in conversation and going, "Oh, he just said he was tired." I can begin to grasp conversations,
How
not
long
what
have you
they're
been doing
saying.
this?
Only the last 4 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how
Yeah,
many
yeah,
how many
yeah.
hours a week you doing this thing?
3 hours a week, and then
3 hours a
obviously I do, I,
week. So
I do
in
it three
12
hours of
hours, you're
class,
picking up
12
conversations
hours a
then.
month, 12 hours a month. And then obviously every day I have interactions with the staff. Now the staff are actually getting good fun out of me, because I'm going in like I was trying to learn, like, so if you're saying always and never, they don't follow the same rules. If you're saying I never do something, never has to come before the verb, right? But if you're saying always, it always comes after the verb. So the only way I could remember it was by being funny with it. Was like, I never take a shower. So that was all I was saying to people for a couple of days, and they were like looking at me sideways. Really? I was like, yep. And I have a weird way of learning, but humor is one of them. So yeah, so it's starting to take hold. I'm not saying I'm going to be fluent, but at least I can ask for directions and get around.
And how many's in your class of like 3 hours a
Oh, one
week?
on one. It's
It's
one on
one on
one.
one. So you're just one
Yeah,
person, a full three
one on
hours.
one. It's 50 minutes, and then you do your hour in your spare time or your homework that night, and then you do another hour the next day, and you go down and you practice saying good morning, the weather is good today. I'm saying like the door is open, the door is closed. I am happy. Like just basics. It's like in school, you remember our news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it's
a
pretty
long
much
time ago for me, but anyway.
it's pretty much that. So yeah, it's getting there. Confidence is king. But most of the guys here speak like 4 languages, and they'll go from Italian to Portuguese, then they'll be speaking Spanish, then into English, and I'm like, I feel
It's
so inadequate.
it's embarrassing.
Sharon me viola, yeah, bet you don't know what that is.
Look, the
Um,
roach, yeah, cock and millish.
so, but apart from my Portuguese,
How's your
the
running coaching going? You haven't done
excellent.
that through
So,
properly anyway.
so this you think I went wild? It's actually leading on to that
Right.
accountability, because I have Duolingo and I have all that, and I have Google and I have AI. I have all the resources I can to learn, but I have someone that logs in and checks my homework. No different to Emmett's going to log in and see, did I follow the plan this week? So for the first time yesterday, for weeks and weeks and weeks, even in the build up to Barcelona Marathon, because I only gave myself a couple of weeks training, it was very hot. It's still hot, not as hot, but it's still hot, and treadmills. And when you are working on your heart rate, or you're doing an easy run, and none of my easy runs were easy. That was the story of, unless I was walking, it would then it was an easy run.
Right.
But yesterday, for the first time in the longest time, I was able to maintain what I would hope is an easy pace, and my heart rate stayed there. So before, I think like it was a 50-minute run, and I got 40 minutes before I started to creep up, and I was like, wow, finally progress. So
So okay, cool.
anyone who's ever trained by heart rate, or trained by, do you know, that element of effort or perceived effort, this was the
Your P scale, yeah.
first time in a long time that I actually held the pace that I wanted to hold. It wasn't 7 minutes 30, it was a 6:20 or something like that. Something I could actually go, okay, that was a good pace for an easy run. For now, progress, and we're making it there. But yeah, I've been calling Emmett things on my Strava, like the Emmett Dunleavy Spring Summer Collection, like he's a designer, because I'm telling you, you wear them workouts. You absolutely wear them. You should see the state of me when I do the interval sessions and the track sessions. Oh my God. Like it's a spectacle. And I feel it the next day and the day after, and I'm like, oh my God, that was tough. But it's good. It's good to be running quick again, feeling that pain again. But like, a lot of the time when we used to do things, like I was kind of afraid when we did intervals and we were setting our own targets, it was always 6 by 400. You know, there was always the magical six, whatever it is about the number six. But then when I seen my training plan last week, it was like 3 by 5. And I was like, hold on. It was 3 sets of 5 different sets, which I thought was absolutely bananas. And I was like, how am I going to survive this? And I did. It hurt. It
Okay.
did hurt a lot. It was pushing. And I had to put myself in the mentality of, if I was there on the track with everyone, I wouldn't stop, because I'm too stubborn.
Yeah.
So although you're training on your own and you're training on this, you have to kind of just put yourself in the mindset that you're iron sharpens iron. You're training with people. You are getting yourself there. You're pushing yourself. You're doing this, that, and the other. Because if I stopped and just got off the treadmill, nothing happens. But what was the point in doing this group training? It's the same as the homework with the Portuguese. It's the same as the running homework. You know, yeah, I'm on my own. But, you know, would I be embarrassed if I stopped up after 10 and the whole group was going out to do another 5? Of course I would. I'd rather crawl 9-minute kilometers, but fail out there, than just not show up for the last one because I was tired. And that's the mentality I have. And that shift, I think, has made a massive, massive difference with me. The accountability of someone watching. And the beauty is, I don't even have to think about it. I get my next 2 days. An email comes in, and it's, today is, boom, tomorrow is. So at least it's not just a daily, oh, what's on the menu today? You're kind of building in. And from that, then I'm able to say, okay, well, I better have rice for lunch and dinner today, because tomorrow is a big day. You know, I'm going to need a little bit extra. Oh, tomorrow's only an easy stretching day, or whatever it is, or recovery day. Okay, we can adjust our diet, because I'm trying to get into good shape. I'm trying to lift weights as well. I'm trying to do everything. But if you look at my Strava this week, you'll see yoga, you'll see strength, you'll see, I think I did yoga twice in the end, mobility, and we got 4 or 5 runs in as well, and a couple of mini cycles. So balancing is key. I'm tired today, but it's been absolutely brilliant just having someone do the thinking for it. How I stand up, I don't know, because I'm on a treadmill setting the pace. But, I think it was Brandon was on our podcast mentioned before that he loves a treadmill because you can just set a pace and just hold on. And it came to the likes of hill sprints. So most of the sessions at the end will have a 4 by 20 second, 30 second, whatever it is, hill sprint. But the beauty about the treadmill is you can set that 10% gradient and you can set the speed and you can just run and run and run. And it's just a matter of time, Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm starting to see a difference in my speed. It's one thing you don't realize is how hard you have to work to get the pace back.
Yeah.
And you really do have to work with it. And then I go on to other people's Stravas and I'm seeing people, I'm like, I'm faster than them. And they're after doing a 420 average for a 5K. And I'm like, oh my God, let's get back to the treadmill. So
the competitors come back.
It's good. But it's the same thing. And I think having someone do the thinking, having that accountability, Sean, is absolutely amazing. And, remote working, remote everything, remote training, you need to have a mindset because no one's watching you. It's moral courage. Like you have to do the right thing when no one's watching and you have to put yourself in the mindset of other people are doing it. And maybe that's why this podcast is so good because you're listening to me now and maybe you've got a hard session this week and you're saying, well, Eric is doing this on his own in Africa. I'm on my own here in Leitrim and I need to do a hard session. You're not alone. There are others who are having those conversations with themselves, but you have to have that mindset of, if I was with Eric right now, would I stop? Absolutely not, because he'd slag the out of me. Like it's, and the reason I'm slagging you is because I wanted to stop. And that's the mentality I have found I've had to tap back into, and it's taken a while. It's taken me a little while to get back into, but once the train, like yesterday's run, when I saw the heart rate and I saw the pace and the time that was, I was like, wow. And now the train is moving. I'm like, now the hunger is there. Okay, progress. It's always that when people do a weight loss challenge or this, it's always a progress pick after 3 weeks. They hate their lives for those first 3 weeks. And then they see the difference and they're like, wow. And the positivity breeds positivity. And you continue then because you're like, how far can I go? But I think finally I've tapped into that. Probably too close to Dunshaughlin to do anything majorly drastic.
You're good 4 or 5 weeks out from Dunshaughlin?
Yeah, but like I've just broken 630 at a heart rate of 140 on the treadmill. Like I'm not going to break any of my own record. Maybe not. We'll see. But what it is about is, and again, we always, and maybe it's the Instagram lifestyle, we always get into the, what can I do now? Same with me when I'm learning Portuguese. I want to know it now. I don't want to know it in a year. I want to know it now. But we are building towards something. We're always building towards something. We just have to be consistent. And that's why we have goals like the Dublin Marathon, which people are going to set their sights on this year, or another trip away with us.
Yeah, well, I have an up in Strava in 2 weeks, and I was lying on a beach in Malta going, geez, I'd love another trip away. And the phone went off because I do nothing for this trip. Eric Lawless, you have decided where we are going in 2026 for the Any Given Runday Marathon Trip.
Tired, aching muscles, and overworked feet?
Discover Ultra Pure Ice Cold Menthol Gel, your instant, fast-acting, and cooling savior.
Powered by menthol and boosted by arnica, rosemary, eucalyptus, and peppermint essential oils, it's a powerhouse of natural recovery.
Massage Ultra Pure Ice Cold Menthol Gel into your legs, arms, back, neck, shoulders, or our personal favorite,
Hey, easy, Sean.
Feet, and feel the instant cooling sensation.
Grab a tube today. Your body will thank you.
Proudly made in County Mayo by an Irish-owned, award-winning family business, Ultra Pure blends quality, care, and value into every product.
Available in pharmacies and health stores nationwide or shop online. Find out more at ultrapurelabs.ie or on our new website, anygivenrunday.com. Now, let's get back to this podcast. So, the marathon trip. So, a lot of people were jealous. When we left last year, and we came back, people saw the photos and went, you never told us. So this is your 2 week warning, okay? in 2 weeks' time on our website, on our Instagram, you will find the links for the marathon trip. We are going back to Barcelona. We had such a good time. It was such a successful trip. We looked at going somewhere else next year, but we decided we would rather increase the numbers of people we want to bring with us. And we would rather have a bigger group and do the same one. A lot of people came on that trip and probably left a lot on the course, myself
A lot
included.
of people just enjoyed it, really.
They just really enjoyed it, yeah.
And the week leading up to it, I was like, I said the one thing we're not doing is doing Barcelona again. I was like, I think we want to try something new every year. And then going through Barcelona and how it went so well and stuff, and then talking to many people afterwards who go, would you not consider doing Barcelona next year? And I was just like, well, Eric's over there. Talk to him.
Well, yeah, it's a hard one to know. Like but then why do we do Dublin every year?
Yeah.
You know, why do we do it every year? Well, because we like it and it's nice, and I know the spots and I know the bars and I know this and I know that. So we're going back for Barcelona. The estimated date is the 15th of March next year, so it'll be the weekend before our Paddy's. But our group, we have 70 places, 70. You can bring a partner, you can bring a spectator. 2 people can share a room and compete in the marathon. There's multiple packages there. We also have a singleton package. Not to say you're unlovable, but people might necessarily have anyone to travel with or mightn't have a friend to travel with. We have a single package. You can tick a box during your sign up to say you are happy to share a room with someone. And if we find someone else who travels alone is happy to share, we can reduce the cost for everyone. But you have to sign up with the anticipation that if nobody else signs up, you are on your own for the trip. I'm really looking forward to it. I actually think there's more pressure on me because sometimes, when something goes really well, you should just leave it there. You should just walk away. Leave the marathon organizing before the marathon organizing leaves you. Do you know that? But it's but what I've reminded myself of is it's actually the people that make the trip, and we had such a good group, and by doubling the size of the group, we really hope to have a fantastic event, and so many people reached out to us after the trip. So we are giving you a warning. It's the reason we actually don't. We paused our guests this week. One, we've another thing to discuss, but we've so much. We've completed the kind of spring interview series where we got a lot of good knowledge, and we kind of feel like we need to kind of give everyone a breather, talk about some of the normal stuff and some of the things that are coming up and on the radar for everyone. And this marathon trip, if you are looking to do it, is something to put in your target box. For those who did it, it is a flat marathon. People said it was hills, but they're lying. They weren't real hills. But it's something you can target for a spring marathon. If you're looking at yourself now and the start of this year hasn't gone too well, and you're doing what I do all the time and going, right, I have 6 weeks to get ready for a maybe it's something you can set your sights on and go, I have 10 months to work on something here, to be consistent, and maybe I can still do Dublin, but I can still keep focusing on this kind of marathon. Then it's definitely the marathon for you.
So what's the process? How does this work? So people listening right now want to sign up, and but you said 2-week buffer. So what's going on there?
Yeah, so the 2 weeks is just to give those who traveled with us last year an opportunity to book their place. So that is why it's top secret, to be fair to anyone who's traveled with us before.
Favoritism.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no shame. They were brave enough to come with us the first time, so they get first refusal. After 2 weeks, Sunday, the June 1st, you will see a post on our Instagram. We will always also on the website www.anygivenrunday.com, under the marathon trips section, you will see a link to the wetravel.com booking system, I suppose. So it will be on the website on June 1st, on the morning of, and it will be on our Instagram in a post. And it is, I'm sorry to say, first come, first serve. Some people are going to miss out, and I am sorry, and that's why we're giving everyone a 2-week warning. Whatever spaces are left out of that 70 after the group of 42 from last year is all that will be there, and we can't really add in anyone else. If you are traveling and you've already booked and you're this and that and want to be a part of it, we're happy to have people reach out to us as well. You don't have to necessarily travel with us. You can still reach out to us if you're going to Barcelona or it's your intention to be there. Definitely link in with us, and we'll try and have fun along the way.
What a heads up for people who just listen to the podcast going, shit, it's just two lads this week. They got something good out of it already. They got the money's worth for listening to the podcast, which was zero put in.
Yeah. So, but again, it's almost like we thought about what we were going to talk about today. It leads into my next segment, I suppose. We've talked about my Portuguese. We've talked about my coaching. We've talked about having a goal, setting a goal, being a part of a group. We are not a club as such, although we do get together as a group. We keep people together through the podcast every Monday. And we did have questions. And again, I love when people message us and we have conversations. New listeners who message, we kind of forget they weren't here for the other 260 episodes. And we kind of have to remind her. And that's why it's nice to take a break every so often and talk about the basics. But it's important to be involved, but we forget how scary it is to take the first step. You know, we've talked about I'm training on my own, and I actually find it difficult to go train with people when I want to do something and they want to do something. You know, sometimes it can be difficult to do that. If you've never been involved in a team sport, it's very hard to go to that dressing room feeling for the first time where you're the odd one out. Everyone knows your name and you don't know anybody's name. So I think in terms of joining a club, I think now, especially, and again, my own opinions, it's not a study. I think in a world where we have all of the social medias, we're probably the least social we have ever been. People are more content sitting on their couches and looking at other people's lives through a screen rather than going because of fear of talking to people and being involved. It's daunting even for me. I'm still daunted every time I go somewhere new. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to know anyone. I get that little bit of anxiety. But the only thing different I do is like, yeah, but after 2 weeks, that's gone. And if you can kind of tell yourself after 2 weeks that feeling's gone, there'll be someone new after me. You know, it helps make the first step. But in terms of joining a run club, a triathlon club, gym club, high rocks, whatever it is, you will not see a greater development in your life, in your abilities, than the moment after you join a club and stick to it. It's amazing what, Sean, you probably see it through your coaching. When people come into your gym, when they have that accountability, when they have a little bit of camaraderie, when they have a little bit of, like, there's days I don't want to run, but I know I told Sean I'm meeting him in the Phoenix Park at 9. That is our little club, you know, and the accountability element that we just, you know, and we're just there. The thoughts then when you add that into a bigger group, because something can happen, one of us, but Sean's like, listen, I actually can't this weekend, I'm away, or the dog is sick, or anything can happen. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's the only excuse I needed, I'm out too. But when you go to a club, they'll have coaches, they'll have lots of people with buckets of experience, far more than we do. We're privileged to have the podcast, which is giving experience, I suppose, to people. But it's where you will get local expertise, you will get great insight, great personalities. It can really, especially if you move to a new area, a lot of people were always focused on, join the GA, you know, that was always a great way to meet people. An athletics club is no different. An athletics club, no matter what sport you do, like, will give you an endurance, will build you back fitness, it will help you with weight loss. You know, whatever it is your goal, the basic fundamental things we can do, sit, lie down, walk, run. You know, as a standard, everyone should be able to manage at least 2 of those items, because I sit and lie down a lot, walk occasionally and run very, very sparingly. But it's something that I think people should really look into. I think clubs sometimes as well can forget how scary it is for new people to come down. But I have to say, if you have 2 or 3, go and join 1 or 2. Go to this place on a Tuesday and this place on a Thursday. See which group fits your style the best, your personality the best. But, and again, it comes back, and Sean, maybe you can chime in on group training and what it's like to be a part. But I think if you really want to progress, if you really want to set a goal to yourself, or like, I know myself, I set myself a challenge and then I might let myself down, and sure, who loses? Only me. And then you do this cycle again and again and again. But if you really want to make a change, like, you have to put yourself surrounded by other people who are like-minded. You are an average of 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you get involved in a club, the likelihood is people are going to have the same goals as you. You're going to find, I actually get on really well with these people. They like what I like. crazy. Like it's like, how did I not know these guys would like running too? So it is good, but it is daunting. You just have to be brave for the first 2 weeks.
Seeing is believing now. When you see, like, for example, you take you and your Ironman and stuff like that, had you not been in the environment you were in with those people, I don't think you ever would have done your Ironman, because you're like, I'm too busy with doing this and this, we're working all the rest. There's no way I could fit that all in. You saw people around you like, oh shit, actually they're doing this and they're doing, not only doing it well, like doing the Ironman, doing class times, everything else. Like there actually is a way to do this. You see it in the gym all the time. Like person comes in and I can't relate to it. I'm not too sure I can do this because I've got kids and stuff. And then there's a mother of 2, 3 kids and they're off doing triathlons. They're off doing different marathons, races. They're lifting what they never thought they could lift before. They never even thought they could hold a barbell, let mine put on their back and start squatting with it. When you're in these environments, it is just, you're like, oh, okay, the excuses in your head start to drop. It's like you can't believe what that self-negative talk in your head going, well, I can't do this because I've never been able to do this, or I don't, people like me or whatever can't do this. But then when you see that in these run clubs and all the rest, and even before doing this podcast, the one thing I thought about run clubs and stuff like that is I thought a legs club could be a bit elitist and different things. Like it's just only meant for people that are there to take running seriously. But the amount of people we've had in the podcast over the years, it's like, no, that's not the case at all. It's not just you're elite, I'm going to do a 5K in 15 minutes and mad stuff like that. Yes, there's an element of that in a lot of these run clubs, but it's so many different people brought together. And like you said, Eric, just try out different ones and see which suits the best. We've had a lot of people on the podcast over the years. If someone you listen to, like, actually, I like that person, what kind of, are they near my area? Bang, try them out. And run clubs are going to welcome people open arms.
Oh, absolutely. And beginners, and look, it's like beginners are always beginners. Everyone's a beginner. Sometimes you can be experienced, but you've life gotten away for a couple of years, so you feel like a beginner again. And I always had this thing in my head. It was like boxing, for example. I did it for a couple of years and did kickboxing, and then I wanted to get back into it, and I was like, I'm not fit enough to go back.
Yeah, that's it. That's
like that is something I have said to myself. I don't know how many times. Like, oh, I'm not joining that triathlon club until I get a bit fitter, or I'm able to swim a bit better, or I'm able to run a bit better. I'm like,
well, that's the job of the triathlon club.
That's the job of the triathlon club. It's the job of the boxing club. It's the job of whatever it is, and that is what you get. It's that self-doubt person. You don't realize, I've really paid attention to it the last 4 weeks. I am horrible to myself. Everyone thinks I'm bad to you. You should see what I'm like to myself, John. But it's and I've had to start, this might sound bizarre, but I'm happy to share it. But I actually have started listening to motivation videos on Spotify in the gym in the mornings, because I noticed I was very negative about how far I'd fallen off from where I had been. And it was actually like it multiplies, because then you just feel bad. And then all of a sudden you have that element of doubt when you're doing a rep, and the 8 reps turns to 6 reps. And I've just started listening to various different things, positive affirmations, this, that, and the other, just telling me that it's like did you ever see call it an experiment, call it whatever, call it clickbait, when people walk up to someone with a camera and they give them a compliment and you see that natural smile and they feel good. Like I need to start telling myself you're not the worst in the world just to feel, so like there's the internal thoughts are always the worst. And that's where that can all be taken away with a club, because you lose a lot of that. You're always going to have someone in your corner. You're always going to have a coach saying, well done. You're doing so well. You started here 5 weeks ago and you've done excellent. That happened to me with the teacher in Portuguese. She was like, we've only done 5 classes and you can say your name, like it's, oh yeah. And I'm like, great. I'm a Portuguese translator now. So it's a place where you can find positivity and competition. That is also another thing. It is sport, but as long as you remember the competition is only with yourself, that's when you can really enjoy it. It's not about what everyone else is doing. It's about what you can do, and what you can do versus you last week, versus you last year, versus you whenever. And that's the bit I'm struggling with, because me versus me 2 years ago is 2 years ago was kicking my ass, but it's.
But it always ebbs and flows, though. It always comes up and down. You're going to be there with someone like there's a lot of things in life where you're a beginner or something and then you get that skill and you have that skill forevermore. Running's completely different. Everyone knows what it's like to be starting from scratch. Everyone knows what it's like to start from scratch multiple times, different injuries, stuff like that. When I get back to my running now soon, I'm going to feel like I'm starting from scratch, even though only 6, 7 weeks ago I did my marathon PB. Like, but I still feel like I've done, like, I haven't ran now in 5, 6 weeks at the moment now. So when I get back to it, I'm going to feel nowhere like I was a couple months ago. And I'm going to have that urge to start loading up the mileage like I did back then and try and be smart and pull it back and listen to people go, hang on, that's the way to get injured again. Pull back the mileage, start building up slowly, and then start slowly setting your goals for the rest of the year. Like, and seeing people, oh man, this weekend, past weekend, we had the Wexford Running Festival down there. The guys doing 100K in the heat down the road, fast lane, doing the half marathons, the heat and stuff like that. And people are probably struggling a lot through the heat. But I was still jealous as hell watching them going through that and put themselves out there to go for that race and not knowing what's going to happen. I just have to say, if anyone's listening, did any sort of racing over the last weekend, the last 2, 3 weekends, an absolute boot of bus for that.
Yeah, fair play. It is tough. It is tough. 18 degrees on any race morning, especially in Ireland. That is not going to be easy. It's phenomenal. And for all those who said I like moaning, welcome to my world. I hope you suffered. I hope you hated it. I hope it was the hardest race you ever done.
I heard people say that the running today was harder than Barcelona. For our marathon back in March. I saw that one the WhatsApp group, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 18 degrees. You know what I'd do for 18 degrees right now, Sean?
It's a different heat. It's a different heat. I don't care what you say. It's different heat.
Different angle to the sun and all that.
Absolutely,
I know.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know, no. It's the Irish thermometer. It's 10 degrees lower.
It's different. It's completely different. Humidity.
Now, honestly, well done to anyone who is taking part. Well done to everyone who is getting involved and those we are building towards. I will be back again to do the Dunshaughlin 10K, but it's important to keep the goals coming, to keep training, keep consistent, and to do look at getting involved in clubs and do look at seeing who is in your area and what it is you can do to be surrounded by like-minded people and to better yourself. And at the end of the day, that is what this is all about. We get experts on, but definitely from myself and Sean, where we are not the experts, but we love to try and we love to be involved, and that's why Barcelona as well, we're doubling our capacity because we want as many people involved to try their first marathon, do their first marathon, or come on their first foreign trip with us as well.
Speaking of goals, I suppose this week they're launching the tickets for the High Rocks Dublin, which is going to be like gold dust trying to get one of those tickets. So people have that in mind, getting the t-shirts off, getting the good weather and all the rest, and trying to get ready for High Rocks in November. So I thought I'd mention that now in case, because next week comes, those tickets will be all gone. They go on general sale on Thursday, but I'm sure different places have pre-sale codes and all the rest.
I'm actually seeing a lot of people traveling abroad for High Rocks. A hell of a lot of people traveling abroad. Some even going to Vegas. Some going everywhere for High Rocks.
Yeah, every weekend I've seen Instagram. It seems to be a new place. Berlin over the weekend, an airport looked pretty cool. Apart from that moment where lashing rain. Imagine doing burpee broad jumps the Pistons of rain. Like it looked horrific. But apart from that, I know a few people got over there, got away from the weather at the time. But all this talk about events and stuff like that, Eric, and I don't even have something lead up here. I mean, it's a good bit away from Dublin Marathon in October. I'm gonna have to come up with something in between. I'm just need. Hit the reset button, get back into the gym, get back training and all the rest, and try and find something between now and October. We've got Dunshaughlin coming up, but I need something bigger. I genuinely don't know where I'm going with this, what it is, but I know after this, I need to start planning because the end of October, well, I'll get here pretty fast. It's still a long way away.
Yeah, it's still a long way away, and people don't realize there is a lot of time. People are starting to look at what's coming and their plans, I suppose, for the autumn series. There is always the Dublin Race Series as well. There are lots of races. There is also Cork Marathon. It's happening in around the June bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, 2 weeks, I think.
And there's also a half marathon down there. So if you're looking to do another spicy run in the heat, Cork for the last couple of years has been very hot on the June race, but it's a fantastic marathon. It's a fantastic half marathon. If it's something that you're like, you know what, I actually would like to test myself on a half marathon course. If it gets a bit warm, so be it. It's a half marathon, like people found out with the fast lane. So yeah, it's definitely something to look at. Keep an eye for any of those races that are coming up around the country. Ballyvaughan, I think, is next weekend. A race down there as well. So there is always races. If you are a club or if you are a local club or run club or whatever it is, if you're having an open day for new beginners, if you're hosting a race, Don't forget that you can submit that race on our event page on anygivenrunday.com. We will post your race so that people can use it as a source of information. We'll try and encourage as many people to take part in as many races around the country, many great races around the country as possible.
I'm going to get out of here and start planning for guests for this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. Eric, anything else to add?
That's it for me. Muito obrigado. Até já.
Yeah, people thought you were full of shit until you finally spoke, I assume, Portuguese. Slán lá agus gurb maracud for myself and Eric. Take care.
Ciao.
Danke schön.